We understand life by looking backwards, but must live forward. Hi, my name is Jamila Idris, and I help successful high achievers like you create a life of meaning and fulfillment by creating alignment, deep connections, and harmony. How many times do you reflect and contemplate on certain events of your life? Are you only living, focusing forward on your goals, focusing on achieving the next thing that you don't reflect on your experiences? You know, they say experience is the best teacher, but I believe that it is experiences that have been reflected upon, that have been contemplated upon, that we get to learn from. And we don't need to learn from our own experiences. We can learn from other people's experiences by reflecting on them and contemplating on them. How often do you spend time to go over your day, go over your activities to measure how you felt when you were around certain people, how you felt when you engaged in certain activities? This will help you to know the tasks to engage in and the people to have around you and those you should let go of. If you're not constantly reflecting to gauge how you are feeling in certain situations, what happens is that you continue to put yourself in unpleasant situations that create unpleasant outcomes at the end of the day. So there was this situation that happened between my friend and I. She said I snapped at her in the presence of people, and I didn't know I did that. So I was apologizing, but deep down I really did not know that I had hurt her. And when I went back that day to journal, because I journal daily, I was reflecting on the activities of that day and what could have, caused that reaction on my path that led to me hurting her. And that was when it hit me that before I met her, there was somebody I was with that spoke down on me. He talked down on me and I wasn't happy about it. So I didn't express my displeasure with the way the person spoke to me. So I carried on with my day, and while I was speaking to her, or while she was speaking to me, I had seen this person and I got triggered. I got back into that feeling of disrespect and not feeling comfortable. So I unknowingly snapped at her. And that was when it hit me that this person, that the actions of this other person got to me in ways that I didn't even expect, that led to me transferring aggression to my friend. Now, if I didn't go back to reflect, I wouldn't have uncovered this connection. I wouldn't have been able to pinpoint what really happened that inspired that action. I would still be cracking my head over what happened, or be in denial that I didn't know what happened, things like that. This also helped me to go back to that person to express my displeasure with the way the person treated me. The person apologized because the person said they did not intend it that way. Our actions may not always go as intended, but our good intentions does not remove the impact or consequences of certain actions. And this is why it is very important for us to go back and reflect. This way we are able to learn more about ourselves, more about people, more about situations, and we increase our level of awareness. It helps us to manage certain situations when they come up because we are now better skilled at it. This is very important as a successful high achiever because you constantly find yourself in different situations that will test your level of awareness, your level of emotional intelligence, and you don't want a situation where you are transferring aggression to people, or you are taking frustration from work home, or taking your frustration from home to work. You want a situation where you're able to compartmentalize as much as possible to ensure that you are operating at your best in every aspect of your life. When certain things happen and you react a certain way, it is important that you go back to ask yourself why you reacted in this way. Often it is as a result of a trigger. If you have certain reactions to certain situations, it calls for some attention because our emotions are messengers. They are calling our attention to they are calling our attention to work on certain things that we are yet to work through. And when you work through those things, it helps you to show up better. It helps to show up as a better leader, as a better spouse, as a better friend, as a better child or sibling, and as a better person in general. So this this shows why going back to reflect on certain events and really contemplating over those events helps us to become better people. It helps us to grow and it helps us to grow into better versions of ourselves. Also, contemplating and reflecting helps us to create alignment. There are times when we begin to drift away from our vision. Research has shown that the people who never get to achieve their New Year resolutions are people, their New Year resolutions, or manifest their vision boards, are people who just create those New Year resolutions or vision boards and just keep them somewhere else. They are not kept in a place where they are constantly seeing it. So when you are not constantly reminding yourself of what your vision is, what your goal is, what that thing you're working towards, that outcome you want to create, or those activities you want to engage in to create this desired experience for your life, what happens is that you lose sight of it. So reflection would help you remember, it will help you create a reconnection so that you can align yourself as much as possible. So reflection helps you realign your vision and your values together so that you can create those outcomes that you desire. Reflection helps you build wisdom. I like to define wisdom as accumulated knowledge. So when things happen, when you gather information, when you get into different learning experiences, how your ability to reflect on what you have learned helps you to build wisdom. And then this helps you to apply this knowledge in ways that benefit certain experiences. So you don't just cut and paste, but rather you adapt and adopt certain solutions and knowledge to certain problems in a way that would create the best outcome possible. So while you are learning, a lot of people pride themselves with reading one book weekly or one book monthly. How often do you go back to what you have read to ensure that learning has truly happened and this knowledge has been acquired, and then you translate it into wisdom in a way that you can transmute this information into different other situations and create desired outcome? Reflection helps us to get out of the victim mindset or survival mode. For a lot of people, they see life events happening to them. But when you reflect on these events, you would see how you were an equal partner in creating some of those realities for yourself. And then what this does is that it helps you to take responsibility. Even if you are not an equal partner in creating this reality, you begin to see yourself as empowered enough to take responsibility and take certain actions to ensure that you create a different reality for yourself. And this helps you to get out of that survival mode of thinking that life is happening to you and you just have to grapple and make do with what is available, to making a shift to transcending into seeing yourself as this empowered being that can thrive, that can create the life that you desire. So you create this transcendence into seeing yourself as this being that can take action, take responsibility, and create the life that you desire. Rather than thinking that life is always happening to you, you move from that place where you constantly see life as happening to you to becoming a co-creator of your reality. So you move from surviving to thriving. And there is a thin line between seeing yourself as a co-creator and wanting to take control of your life. This also gets you into trouble where this also gets you into a state where you feel miserable and stressed because there are a lot of things that are outside of your control. So while you are working to become an empowered version of yourself, where you are co-creating your reality, you understand that God is the ultimate creator and the disposer of affairs. And if you have desires for something, it only means that he has written that thing for you, and you need to partner with him to bring that thing into existence. No, rather than you thinking you have to create everything the way you want it at the time you want it. So you don't get to that circle of stress, overwhelm, and frustration when things are not working in the way you had thought or expect it to work out. Reflecting also helps you identify those patterns that are not in alignment with your principles, which is not consistent with the person you say you are or the person you're working to become. So there was this time where I realized that I wasn't giving my business as much attention as it should, while in other aspects of my life, I was claiming that my business was very important to me. So there was inconsistency in the way I was showing up, because on one hand, I was saying my business was important to me, but on another hand, I wasn't really doing the things I need to do to ensure that to show that my business was a priority. This inconsistency was creating a conflict and resistance inside of me, and I was not creating the outcomes I desired in these different aspects of my life, because I was living out of integrity. My words were not consistent with my action. Most of us say things that are not, most of us live a life that is inconsistent, where our words don't align with our actions. And it is important that we create this alignment, we create this consistency, so that we are able to create the outcomes that we desire. You don't want a situation where you say something and your actions say something else. You want a situation where everything is in alignment and you're able to create the life you desire. When we talk about the concept of sin, I like to say sin is not just about, you hurting somebody else and all of that, but sin is you not living with integrity, not living in a way that honors your connection with God. We all have very unique relationships with God. So if you say God is important to you, if you say spirituality is important to you, or that connection with God is important to you, how are you living your life? Are you living your life in that alignment? Are your words consistent with your actions? Are you saying that God is important to you, while when it comes to your actions, you're acting in a way that doesn't even show that He is on your first list of priority? I would recommend that you begin to reflect more on your words and actions. Reflect on how you are living out your life daily. Those things that you are engaging in, how are they in alignment with your vision, with your goals, with the reality you're trying to create, with the person you're working to become? If there is a misalignment, there is a need for you to begin to work on creating those alignments. There is a need for you to align your words to your actions. And sometimes we are unable to do this by ourselves. That is why I always recommend that you seek the help of a professional to help you create this realignment. Because like we say in the helping profession, you cannot read the label if you are in the bottle. Sometimes it takes another person telling you that you are living out of alignment. It takes another person seeing your patterns and telling you how inconsistent those patterns are from the results you say you want to create, or how inconsistent your actions are with the vision you say you're working towards. So invest in getting help. This is the only way, this is one of the ways you can move forward and create the life that you desire, while maximizing your potentials and living a meaningful and fulfilling life. I hope you found this useful. Do like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.